Hey everyone, it's me, Mr. G, coming at you with the Chapter 1, Lesson 2 questions on how does a historian work. Alright, so we looked at three different types of historians. We looked at archaeologists, paleontologists, and anthropologists. All three study different parts of history, but they all have one thing in common. They all use evidence or reliable sources in order to make the best possible inference as to something that happened a long time ago. Studying history is like solving a mystery.
Hola, soy Dora.
No, not that kind of mystery. More like a murder mystery. If you've ever played the murder mystery game Clue, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You have to move around the puzzle and collect as much evidence as you can so that you can make the best possible inference as to who the murderer is, where they committed the murder, and what weapon they used. If you were to try to guess at the beginning of the game before even making a move, you have 1 in 354 chances of getting it right. That's 0.31%. It's like me assuming that in the pocket is going to be Mrs. Peacock in the lounge with a knife.
Hey everyone, it's me, Mr. G. Open your mind and your heart and let's take a closer look at historical events that shape who we are today, here on History in the Round.
Let's get into the questions. Number 1, name one way a primary source is different from a secondary source. Remember that a primary source is a first-hand piece of evidence. It's written or created by somebody who actually witnessed or experienced the historical event. A secondary source is written or created by someone who did not experience the event. Number 2, why does a historian have to understand what point of view is? Remember, historians should know what a point of view is because identifying a source's point of view will help them determine the reliability of the source and recognize if there's any bias. Number 3 says, why does drawing a conclusion come at the end of a research process? Remember that drawing conclusions come at the end of a process because the historian first needs to find and evaluate all the sources before making a determination. How does a primary source help a historian understand the past? Remember, a primary source contains details about a historical time period. Although it's written in a potentially biased point of view, a primary source contains concrete evidence from which to draw conclusions. Explain why some historians differ in their interpretations of historical events. This is a question on historiography. Historians use different historical sources to find evidence for their positions. Their interpretations may differ because it's based on their facts and their sources. Think of the reading you do every day. In a short paragraph, give an example of one primary source and one secondary source that you've read recently. Explain why each example fits into the category you've chosen. We talked about a few examples. Primary sources would be considered the Diary of Anne Frank, a letter written by a soldier to somebody while they're at war. A secondary source may be a biography or maybe an essay written about something else. So primary sources, again, to recap, is something written by somebody who was actually there. Secondary sources are written by somebody who wasn't. That's it. I hope you get the questions and the answers submitted on time. See you soon.